Back with another one of those podcasts and beats. Hello, everyone. We're back. We're going to talk about something that I care a lot about, and that is the greatness of the United States of America, the greatest country on the entire planet, and has been for over 200 years. And the reason I'm talking about this today is because I had a debate with someone yesterday. And if you're listening, you know who you are, about the greatness of the United States of America. His argument is that America can do better, that there's other countries doing things better than the United States. And that could be true. It's not. I'm not so arrogant and ignorant to say that America is the best at everything in every aspect in all the ways. Although I may say that. But his argument is that other countries get it right, and that we do not use our large GDP appropriately. That we do not delegate the money from our GDP appropriately, where it would help the citizens of the country. And there's certain things where he says there that I do agree. I do agree in certain aspects. I think there should be less government. When we're taxing all these millionaires and billionaires, and now a trillionaire, I do think that some of that tax money should not go to federal. It should stay in the state. And as funky as that sounds, is that once you start to tax millionaires, billionaires, trillionaires, even us, local folk, we start taxing our money, and then it gets sent to a federal reserve type of area, broken down, delegated, exchanged, and then reallocated. You don't know what happens. And this is like a common thing. I think most business people know. Every time a dollar makes a transaction from one hand to another, despite whether it's federal to state and state to federal, you lose money. And now sometimes you lose money where you know where it goes, right? It's to pay the worker who's delegating that money. It's to pay the employees who are handling this disbursement. But other times, let's not be naive, money goes missing and they don't know where the money went. Just ask California. But the amount of money they invested to help reduce homelessness, they don't know where half of that money went. Because it went from one government hand into multiple local government hands, and then there's nonprofits, and then there's people working, so people gotta get paid. Nonprofits still get paid, they just don't profit as a company. Do you get what I'm saying? So, where him and I agree is that we can make better use of the money. Where him and I disagree is that I think we make very good use of the money overall. There's certain areas we can improve, but his argument is that the United States spends way too much money on military. And so that's where I draw the line. I think that we spend the appropriate amount of money on militia. And here's my explanation to you. This is where our debate started. Saying that we started a war that isn't necessary in Iran, I say it's completely necessary because I would never want Iran, the country, or the leaders there, the radical leaders there, to ever own a nuclear weapon. They're closing the strait now because they don't like how we're handling a situation with Israel, etc., etc. So imagine if they had a nuclear weapon. They would not only close the strait, but they would attack their neighbors, and potentially us, with a nuclear weapon, no guilt. Guilt-free. Okay, and so that makes them dangerous people. You don't want them equipped with high-grade weapons. But we started an unnecessary war, and that's why we have inflation, blah, 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 blah. Gas is expensive, steak and eggs and all that stuff. And I'm telling them that in the Biden administration, quote-unquote, no wars, and we suffered the same inflation, actually worse. Eggs were just as expensive, if not more, and so is gas. And right now we're paying, I think, $80 a barrel. There's a time during Biden's administration we're paying $100 a barrel. So it's not uncommon for fluctuations of prices. Ours has a reason, war. What was the reason behind Biden? What was it? The first 2 years, I guess we said COVID, right? Which we all learned was fake. Not fake, but not as disastrous as they made it seem. We didn't have to shut down government. We could have all just suffered flu shots or COVID shots for the ones that were severely at risk, and then the other ones could have just caught it and then got over it, right? So I'm not judging administrations. I'm making the point that the pricing and the inflations and the interest rates and all that changes constantly through every single administration. We have a reason why ours is up. It's Iran. But also, my argument to him was, we started this unnecessary war, whatever, but we have our reasons, and I don't think it's against us to start a war, right? We have our reasons. Russia is at war with Ukraine, and we are the largest donators of money to that war. It's not even at our forefronts. We have a huge ocean between us, right? The UN has loaned money, not donated money. So all the money that the European nations have given Ukraine to fight this war must be paid back with interest or with assets. And so now Trump's administration is saying we won't send any more money without the same kind of deal. We will send you money or equipment, like weapons, but we want to be paid back. We've given over $150 billion in aid. And most of that has been weapons. The argument this man made to me is that, well, you have excess weapons. What do you care? What are you going to do with them? Weapons don't expire, buddy. They don't go bad. It's not like it's milk and it's like, oh, if we don't get it off the shelf now, it's useless. They don't go bad. Ask Russia what kind of old military weapons they're using in this war. Weapons don't go bad. We don't have to give them to Ukraine because otherwise, it's just garbage. It's not garbage. We'll use it in our war in Iran. So the logic is having excess. It doesn't count. It counts. And plus, by the way, what would Ukraine do with the money we gave them anyway? Buy weapons. That's like saying, hey, I gave a homeless person $5. I'm more noble than you who gave them a hamburger. Well, what are they asking for money for? Isn't it for food? So if I gave them a hamburger directly, then I helped out. And then your argument is, you had 2 hamburgers. Well, it still cost me $5 for that hamburger. And it was for myself. So I'm less noble than you now because I didn't give him the hamburger? I mean, I'm sorry, I didn't give him the $5 that you gave him? Gave him the burger. We skipped the middle, man. You don't need the $5, buddy. I got you. You're hungry. Here's some food. Hey, Ukraine, I got you. You need weapons? I have the best weapons. Save your money. Here's some weapons direct. You know, so it's like a weird mentality. It's like you're damned if you do in the United States and you're damned if you don't. If you don't give money and you give weapons, oh, well, you had them and you should have did more. If you don't give weapons, you give money. It's like, well, they should send weapons. We have the best weapons. We got to help. Because now we're charging them the money we lent them to buy our weapons, right? It's like, hey, here's 50 billion. You want to buy weapons? We sell weapons. Here's 50 billion worth of weapons. Oh, that wasn't a real loan. You didn't really help them. Right? If we send them money and we don't help at all in the war, we don't talk to Russia, we don't pick a side. Oh, well, the United States should really pick a side, you know, because Russia's doing bad things. Like, the logic doesn't make sense. And like I said, it's damned if you do, damned if you don't. The United States is the greatest country in the world. And if we're allocating poorly with militia, then why does everyone call us for militia? I think the United States is just not naive. We know that we cannot depend on anybody else to help us get out of trouble. Perfect example, Iran. We asked Spain. We asked a couple countries in Europe to help. They said no. So now imagine now if we allocated our money like the Europeans, who have weak militia, poor equipment, weapons, military equipment, and now we needed help, no one would help us. We'd be stuck. So thank the Lord, thank God, thank the government, thank our administration, because we learned from our civil revolution, our civil war, that weapons are important. And asking for help is pointless. People are out there to take advantage of you, so take care of yourself. We're well equipped to handle any war that we might get ourselves into. And if someone wants to help, thanks. But if you don't want to help, that's okay. We don't need you. But I'm sure you'll call daddy later when you get stuck. Because as poorly as we allocate our money, it's allocated perfectly when you're in trouble. All of a sudden, the United States is the best. NATO is made up, I think, of 65 or 70% of the American money. If America withdrew from NATO, what would NATO be? Just a glorified UN. They haven't done anything for the Russia-Ukraine war, NATO. The UN hasn't done anything for the Russia-Ukraine war. If it's not the United States leading the charge, nobody's doing it, because they have no guts, no glory. And now, to the nitty-gritty, to end my podcast, because I don't want to make this a really long one. It's kind of boring and political. Ready? Every major war fought on the globe, there's only two, World War I, World War II, was resolved by the tenacity, the tactics, and the strength of the United States of America. When shit really hit the fan and we got involved, problem solved. And you can say with dirty tactics, with atomic bombs and stuff like that, but in reality, when you have the strength, right, you have the power, right, the saying goes, don't mess with the bull, you won't get the horns. You don't blame the bull for giving you the horns when you pick it on the bull. You don't go bombing our islands and then expecting us not to retaliate. So as poorly as our money is allocated, it's pretty conveniently allocated when shit hits the fan. When you're in trouble and the bully's knocking at your door and you need a hero to step up, you got Captain America, always ready, always ready. All right, so just remember that. Every major global war resolved by the United States of America, one of the youngest countries in the world, United States of America, one of the largest GDPs in the world, United States of America. And then finally, another argument that I made with this person is the European Union, or all of Europe, is 44 countries, he said, and we got 50 states. And that's why the United States is comparable in terms of size and stature to Europe. But the reality is that's not true. That's just a fake number that they used to make it seem like, oh, well, of course we're as powerful as Europe. Even though we're one country, we're as large as all of Europe combined in terms of state. But we're not. Europe has 750 million people. The United States has like 350 million people. We're half the size of Europe, but with twice the strength. And it's because the American people are the hardest working. The American people have ambition. And up until this day, for now, the American people are rewarded for what they've earned. And we got some loud crybabies who want stuff even though they haven't earned it. But the reality is, in this country, if you have ambition, innovation, you take risk, you get rewarded. And that's how I hope it always stays. Because in all these other soft countries where it's like, oh, you don't want to work, you want to stay home, we'll take care of you. We don't like that. We don't like that. Pull your own weight. Take pride in the country you live in, and take pride in the things you do, and you will be rewarded. You will be noticed. God bless America, guys. Have a good one.